welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English, as you may already have noticed. And today we want to have a look at 3 different games again, which will be Rainball Pinball Future, Tiny Town and Demong Hunter. It's not Demon Hunter, it's Demong Hunter for some reason, I'm not sure why. Probably because the name was already taken or something. And as always, as you all know, my name is Gerald. I'm going to use a couple of different tools here, which will be, for instance, the arc mouse in this case. I'm going to use the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard of course, and one of the rare occasions where we are going to use the Xbox One S wireless controller again, because one of the games supports it, and it supports it quite well, so it's fun to play with it, so we are going to use it. And of course, the main thing of this whole setup is, as always, my Lumia 950 XL, which is a smartphone with a wood cover on it, so a Mozo cover called Zebra Wood. And this smartphone, of course, has a USB-C connector at the bottom, and we can use this USB-C cable to connect it, for instance, with a display dock here. Display dock is more or less like an USB-C interface, or more or less, it's quite like that. And the USB-C interface, or better to say the display dock itself, is going to be connected, or is connected to this TV already, and so we can have a look at this desktop-like experience we see here. And I can of course use my mouse, for instance, to move around the mouse pointer and do stuff with it, and control my smartphone with all these different input devices, which are connected to the smartphone itself, not to the display dock or something, because they are wireless and they are Bluetooth, and so I can use them with my smartphone itself and, for instance, play games on it or do other things. You know already what that is all about. It's called Continuum. You can have a look at the corner up there to have a couple of other videos which are explaining that whole stuff and the whole setup and stuff in a little bit more detail. And other than that, I would say let's start with the first game. The first game is going to be a classic favorite of most people, I would say, Rainball Pinball Future. It's a pinball game, pretty nicely done. You can play it with the mouse or the touch interface if you want to, or we can play it with the Foldable keyboard in this case, and we are going to play it with it. All you will have to use is more or less arrow keys, so left and right for the left and right part to push up the ball and stuff, and top and bottom for more or less firing it up. I will show you what the game is all about now. It's a pretty small, simple game. There's not too much I can show you about it, but if you like this kind of pinball experience, which is this one, then you probably like this game. So let's have a look at it. There is some kind of an information at the start where it tells you to rotate your device and do stuff with it. You can just ignore it, just press on it and it's going to be away and you can play the game. Don't know. There are a couple of other games where that is not possible, so if there is this information you are not able to play them on Continuum because the developer did it that way. But in this case it really doesn't matter, and you can just click on it and you should be able to play it. Next thing, I will just go and kill that, click on that again, and now you can just, no thank you, and now you can just choose, for instance, play, or have a look at the information here, but we are going to go into play because it's really not that hard to play. As you can see, this is going to be your play field. There are going to be changes to this, depending on the level you are in, or the different modi you can achieve with this. And he's already telling you what to do. So use your arrow keys. And as you can see, if I press the left one and the right one, it's going to just use those. And as you can see, it's going to move all of them, which are on the right side, the left side, and so on. If you want to start, you have to first press down and then up to release it more or less, and push the ball here to the play field, and that's going to be all that there is more or less. So let's have a look. There are a couple of different power-ups and nice little things, and the aim of this game is of course to achieve the highest level of score you can achieve. It's kind of all there is. As you can see, the cool thing is he's going to zoom in on the ball, and now you can see it's more or less like a real flipper game, or like a real, like a real pinball game, of course. There are a couple of different other things. For instance, if you get into this kind of tunnel thing, you see there's going to be a different play field then for a couple of seconds at least. And there are a couple of other things you can explore with this game, which are pretty neat in most situations. And of course you just want to keep the ball in the air as much as you can. And one thing to note here is that there is a delay in the with the input devices, but I think it's more or less meant to be there, because the delay is more or less what you would feel if you are pressing one of the buttons and there would be a mechanic doing that. So it's meant to oh sorry, didn't think of it. It's meant to be there, I think, because like that it's more like a realistic feeling of a flipper game. So let's start it and see what is going on here. As you can see, there are all little kind of smaller icons there, I'm not sure. You can activate them, they are going to give you bonus points and all the different cool stuff you already know from those kind of flipper games. And as you can see, you have a couple of different balls you can use. There are going to be balls like a power-up from time to time in this game. And there are of course pushes in here from time to time, as you can see. And of course there are places where you could lose without a chance to do something against it. It really highly depends on what you are going to play here, but in the end this is more or less already the game. As you can see, there are some push-up parts. Then here, for instance, would be one of the places where you could really lose without being able to do anything against it. Sorry. And of course in the middle, if it's going straight down, then it's hard to go there too. You can of course press both buttons too if you want to. And yeah, this is more or less what this game is all about. Just a small little pinball game, pretty classical. But in the end, if you like this kind of game, then just try it out. I think it's a fine and well done thing, especially because of the delay. At first I thought it was just laziness when programming or something, but it really isn't. This is unfortunate now. Didn't have that till now. That is a little bit bad, of course, but whatever. So as you can see, we have done a record of 12,190 points till now, and this time around we got 7. You get a rating for that, and that's all that there is. After that, if you are ready, you can, for instance, insert that to the scorebook if you want to. You don't have to. It's whatever you want to do there. And yeah, this is more or less the first game I wanted to show you. So if you like this kind of pinball experience, or you are just used to it from your childhood or something, just try it out. I think it's a nice little one and you should have a look at it if you want to. Okay, so let's have a look at the second game. The second game is called Tiny Town, and it sounds a little bit like something like village farming or so on. It's not. I will show you what it is. It is some kind of a between something like Candy Crush and a doodle game and a puzzle game. I'm going to show you. I find it pretty nicely done. What I will have to do, I can just start on there, but we're going to restart. And this is a play field. What is going to happen here is that you are trying to achieve those kind of Candy Crush-like lines and combinations of different things which are lying next to each other. But this game is going to give you a lot more than just something like that. You can, for instance, fight against enemies in this case. So there are going to be pigs around, and you have to, for instance, try to get those pigs covered up with bombs you can throw at them, or you can try to get those pigs just more or less imprisoned and something like that. And the doodling part is that, for instance, if you, for instance, put one of the flowers, all of those things you're going to put here are, at the start at least, all plants, and after that there will be houses. And you're going to more or less activate and increase the level or whatever of them. As you can see, we get some kind of a clue. You can use that, you don't have to if you don't want to, but in the end this is going to set something up, and as you can see, if there is some kind of a match-up, so anything that is connecting to each other. It's not about having rows or having diagonals or something. You just have to have them next to each other. There is this bad little piggy we don't want around here. And what the pig is going to do is it's going to destroy your different things, and it's trying to occupy one of the places here. So try to cover it up. Now we are fine by just clicking here. Then it's going to be this crystal kind of thing. The crystal kind of thing is blocking one of the play places here, and you are losing the game if there is no space available anymore. Of course, as you already noticed, if I, for instance, place something in somewhere, then you can see it's going to be changed into another plant. In general, something that is higher up the rank, whatever. And for instance, you can have even trees. You can have those houses. Here's one of those bombs. If you want to get rid of one of the places here, just put it on there. You can use it to kill a pig, for instance, too. And there can be more than one pig, as you may already have noticed. And you really don't want them to run around. So just kill as many as you can. And as you can see, this is the next thing you can use. You can, it's more or less hiding you where it's going to be placed. And you don't have to place it there. You can just move it around and do it, put it on another place. And here is some kind of a crystal. The crystal is more or less a joker. So if you don't have, for instance, one of the trees here, but you want to get the trees done, then you can just use that, put that anywhere, and it's going to be this kind of joker. And if you, for instance, have 3 trees, you're going to get a house. And the good thing about those houses is that they are going to create coins for you each and every turn around. The coins can be spent in this little icon here, so more or less a shop of this. We will have a look at that later, what's going to be done there. And as you can see, just try to survive as long as you can. If the pig isn't able to move anywhere any longer, then it's going to be more or less neutralized, and it's more or less this kind of crystal there then. But as mentioned before, the crystal itself is occupying a space in your play up here, so be aware of that. Of course, if there are a couple of crystals next to each other, they are going to be destroyed too. You can use, for instance, the bomb things that is going to happen from time to time to kill one of the crystals too. So if you, for instance, don't want this crystal because it's just giving you a headache or whatever, just use it like this. And other than that, just try to do those combos. Let's see how long we can survive this. I think pretty long in general, but let's see. As you can see, the crystals are going to be created into a bigger crystal, or whatever you want to call that too. Let's see what we can do here. and now you're just doodling around more or less, trying to get all the different guys here covered. Yeah, you already see it. We are going to hit the bottleneck pretty soon here. It's always taking me longer to hit the trouble back, but whatever. So, as you can see, here we have one of the special occasions, so there are going to be different weather conditions and stuff like that. And as you can see, they are giving you some information about what's happening if you are playing the game for the first time, or this is happening for the first time, of course. And in this for instance, we can upgrade in the store different kind of magic parts. So let's have a look at that. As you can see, we can, for instance, buy one of those kind of exploding bombs and all those different things you already know about with the coins we already generated. You could buy it, but I don't think you should. But it depends on what you really want to do. Other than that, just get those kind of stuff here around. As you can see, there are different magic stock stuff available. I'm not sure what this is. We can't buy it at the moment, so I can't tell you. I think it's just to destroy one of the parts, but that would be more or less like the bomb itself too. So I'm not exactly sure what that is all about. The interesting part about this is that you never know how long you can play this. If I, for instance, put this one in, it would be the last point, but it's going to create a new definition, and maybe it will help us. Yeah, I would say now we are over. Yeah, okay. So we get a score, and of course the aim of the game is to get the score higher and higher as long as you can. Survive this as long as you can and try to play it. It's really a nice little thing, a nice little switch on the static or yeah, whatever that is called. I'm not sure. It's like, as I said, Candy Crush and somehow like doodling and somehow like fighting against something, so a puzzle game. It's really an interesting start here. Just try it out if you want to. This is, I think, a paid app. I'm not sure at the moment, but try it out. There is a free version available at start, so at least you can play it for a couple of days if you want to try it out. And yeah, just have a look at it. So let's get out of this game too and go to the last game, which is Demong Hunter with a G. So it's written D-I-M-O-N-G for some reason, I'm not sure why. But whatever, it's a nice little game where you are going to run around as a 3D figure, more or less a little bit in a Zelda style or something. It's this one. Just to mention it, this game is at start often in some kind of a Chinese mode, so you really have to switch the language. And that's a little bit troublesome because the language isn't easy to switch at the starting point. So if you're in the game, there is one button you have to click, but you have to go to that game or to that place before it starts, because here is no kind of option to do that, which I find a little bit odd, but whatever. So first off, I will just guide you through. I just tried out what to press here. There is nothing that is really going to hurt you much. So first off, click on that, and this seems to be where you have to input your name, so the guy you want to play with, or the name you want to play with. In my case, I will put in G, then just press that, and I think it's going to be this button, so it's just asking you if you really want to create that character or something. So it was the wrong button, click this one. After that, there's going to be some kind of an initial storyline, which is a little bit unfortunate that you can't see it, but in the end it's really not that important for the game. The game itself is fine and can be played in different languages like English, like German, and there are a couple of other translations there too. As you can see, this is a character you're going to play with. And here everything is still in Chinese, but now we can press on this button, and yeah, here, if you can't read Chinese, it's hard again, but you can see that there are some kind of translations. And for that you have to click on this button, and now you can select one of the other languages here, so English, Espanol, different kind of Asian languages, Deutsch for instance, so German is available too, and a couple of other languages. We are going to use English, so you can read everything, and now it's fine. If you restart the game now, the English version is set in, so you can have a look at the start there too and stuff like that, but you won't have to do it. I'm not sure why that is. They could have just put that icon in there at the start or something, then it would be better, but whatever. As you can see, we have a couple of different informations here, and this game is one of the games that you can play with the Xbox One S wireless controller, which is pretty cool for this game. And as you can see, you can even navigate through the menu with the controller, so this kind of finger is going to be there, and it's going to show you where you are currently at, and you can choose different options here. It's very well running in middle graphics quality. I'm not sure if I should change it to high quality, so I'm going to leave it at middle quality at the moment. And yeah, that is working fine. What I will do now is I will turn around to play this game, because it's a little bit of an action fighting game, so we really will have to see what we are going to do here. Too fast to do anything else. So let's go over, close this down, and as you can see now we are in a mode where you really can see what's happening. So it's a character leveling up game, something like an RPG in a small way. And as you can see, we have health points, of course, we have attack, defense, attack speed, movement speed, and a critical rate. We can go to the shops here, and there is of course some kind of tutorial at the start if you play this for the first time. Now let's just go right into the game, and so press on hunting ground, press A in this case, and we're going to go there. As you can see, there are a couple of different levels you are going to play here, and you can, for instance, change the difficulty level down below there. And yeah, other than that, just press the button to go in and fight with your little character here. And we have a sword, of course. As you can see, there are a couple of other characters around too. You can use the on-screen device on the device, especially the special attack moves are better to reach there, or better to say, I didn't find a way to do it with the Xbox One as wireless controller. The interesting part is that it's not all about the special moves or something like it is in this game sometimes. You really can use only the normal attacks, which are fine with this, and it's going to be a little bit of a higher problem then, but as you can see, I can move around with my controller here. We are going to be attacked by sheeps at the start because we're in a tutorial more or less, but as you can see, we can now run around in this little comic-like character experience. I really like the look of it, and try to kill different things here. And of course, after a while you got the first round, and as you can see, it's always being this battleground, or at the start at least, and there are going to be different evil characters more or less. So all the different enemies you are going to fight here are at start at least in this arena. It's more or less like an arena fight game or something. It's really easy at the start, but it's going to be harder and harder. As you can see, there are other characters. Be aware that this guy is going to try to hit you already. So he is jumping up and down, he is angry, and he can attack you if he is moving around. So be very careful, and what you can do now is just run around and try, got me once, try to kill him by just trying to get out of his reach and stuff like that. So it's pretty nicely done, and you can play it very, very nicely with the controller here. And now let's go to the next one. Here we can, for instance, go in again and go to the shop and do other stuff. For instance, here you can select different icons, more other things here. I'm not going to use that at the moment. What we can have a look at is we can have a look at our character ones. As you can see, it's Lucy. Lucy is in level 2 at the moment, has a couple of different power-ups or special moves more or less, and a couple of different other things. You can, for instance, change her appearance if you want to. So there are a couple of different optic changes you can do. And here you could, for instance, go to other characters if you want to play them, with different difficulty levels. So depending on what you are going to play here, it's going to be harder or easier to play with it. As you can see, it has the characters have different kind of experiences and experience levels, and you are going to level up with the characters, of course. Yeah, there's not too much mod for that, so let's go back and have a look at the equipment part. Equipment part is especially or exactly what you're thinking it would be. You can update, for instance, the different things you're using here. You can run around, do a ring update, do different armor updates and stuff like that to increase your character's health and stamina, and of course the power with which he's attacking or she's attacking in this case, and so on and so on. Artifacts are more or less different things you're going to find in the storyline. Some of them are going to help you, some are more or less for optical informations or whatever. And yeah, this is more or less what this is about. If you are happy with your choice, then just press A again and go to the next level. And there are going to be different levels after that. And now we are going to face different kind of monsters here. So we are upgrading ourselves more or less. Be aware they can hit you, and what I would suggest you to do is really attack once or twice and try to get away them. That's the way this game has to be played, otherwise they are going to hit you. There's of course your health bar. They are not really bad fighters at the start at least, but be aware that that might change in future. So there are going to be much more difficult guys. As you can see, there are pretty many of already. And if it's only one guy and he's going to be more or less stunned a little bit by getting hit by you, it's pretty easy. As you can see, if you have a look at the moves they are doing, they're trying to catch you with the head or something at the moment. And as you can see, yeah, one got me there. As you can see, you are attacking a lot of them at the same time if you are going to hit in the general direction of them. Yeah, and here for instance is one of the guys who can fire at you. So be aware, if you are close to them they are really harmless because they are getting stunned very fast. But if they are far away from you, then you really have to be a little bit cautious about it, because otherwise they are going to kill you pretty fast. And then for instance this is a treasure hunt more or less, so be aware that you can for instance get this kind of stuff. And now just try to get out of range, or better to say there is no range, but try to get out of the problems they can give you by attacking you with all the different points here. So just try to get out and hit them. It's not extremely hard or something at the start, but it's going to be harder. Now it's round 5. Let's see. Yeah. Here for instance is one of the bigger guys. And those bigger guys, in this case, are going to be stunned too, so it's not that hard to play against them, but they have of course a pretty bad attack. And after you killed them, they are going to fall to pieces more or less, and then there are going to be smaller guys which are popping out of them. So be very careful with that. Attacking just by hitting the attack button all over again is not a good idea, just to let you know that. They are going to kill you sooner or later then, because if you for instance do not get all of them with one of the hits, then one of them is going to kill you or hit you, and it's going to be bad for you. And as you can see, yeah, there was one of the guys who got me there. So tactics, just try to attack, run away, attack again, and try to more or less dodge the different things. There is a dodge button available and stuff like that, but as I mentioned before, not with the controller. You can do that with the keyboard, I think, with the mouse and with the touch controls, but it's a little bit more difficult with the controller. I didn't find at least where I can activate it. Maybe there is some kind of a special combination or something, I'm not sure. If you find it out, let me know. Other than that, we are level 3 now, as you can see. We got a little bit of an upgrade there, and now we can go to the next level. Let's play one more or so, and after that I would say you should try it yourself. It's really a nice little game, I really like it. It's a good usage of this controller, for instance. Not perfect. I would like to use the other buttons here to do the power up or the other parts here. I think there are enough, for instance, on this controller to do that. Yeah, that fit me. Come on. But in the end, game is playable, and I like the way it's played. It's really very lag-free. There's no input delay, and it's really fun to play it like this. So this is one of the games that really highly more or less increase its play fun or whatever if you're going to use a controller with it. You don't have to. But it's more fun like that. And as you can see, sooner or later it's going to be harder to dodge, for instance, the attacks, especially if you are hitting a lot of times. Let's get the treasure part here. 25 gold, already cool. And as you can see, we are only in round 2 of this, so this might be even a little bit troublesome already. You have to more or less clear the rounds. You're not going to get health after that or something, so be aware of that. There's a big guy of those. As you can see, he's going to shoot with a couple of bottles of the things here, so 2 of them in this case. So be aware of that and avoid the other one, for now at least. Good thing is the blue one is not going to give us a lot of the smaller guys there, but be aware that all of them are going to hunt you down now. Try to avoid them, of course, by just running around in a good way. Be aware that they're going to hit you, and as mentioned before, be a little bit careful. Be a little bit careful with how often you hit something, because if you started one of the hits, for instance, it's not going to be stoppable also. You can't run away or use the controller and try to run away. You are going to hit the guys with your control or with the attack you already have done there. And if that is not done, and if they are going to hit you in that round or in that time, they will hit you, and you can't dodge at this moment, and you can't get out of there. So be very careful about that. Let's try one of the parts out here if I can. The problem is that if you have once used the controller, here's one of the shock waves. Let's do this one. So as you can see, those are some of the power up parts. Here's dodging. Dodging can't be done all the time, so be very careful with it when you are doing it. And here was one of the other power ups, so a jump hit more or less. And as you can see, there are this kind of damage stuff that is going to tell you how much your attack did. In the end, at least with this character, it's already pretty easy to do. And here seems to be the boss fighter, in this case. Yeah, he can take a lot, and he is trying to... yeah, okay. So let's try to get this boss. Try to run away of him. As you can see, he can take a lot of my hits. Has more or better stamina, and of course has better armor as it seems. So my hits normally kill or give something of 105 or so damage, and here he is only taking 80 or something like this from it. And of course, as you can see, he is jumping up. There was a critical hit, that's fine. As you can see, he's jumping up and giving me some kind of a shockwave on the ground, so try to get away from that. Ouch. Oh, oh, oh. I really don't want to be hit by that. As you can see, we are already getting a little bit low on health here. I don't think you have an option to increase health in the middle of the rounds. So really have to be fighting a little bit careful in this case. And as you can see, I'm only giving him one hit at a time, so I have time to run away from him and try to dodge his fireballs there he's firing at me, or this magic kind of spheres or whatever he's going to throw at me there. Maybe I can hit him twice, don't know, yeah, works too, sometimes at least. I'm not going to be impatient here and lose this for that. Good thing he is just repeating that all over again. So I really can quite easily kill him, hopefully at least. Really have to be very careful with his magic ball attacks. I think they are really, really bad if they hit you. They're easy to be dodged, as you can see, but still. And have won it, have done it. Okay, so stage cleared. And we gained a little bit of experience, so we're going to be at 75% around that, approximately. To the next level, so level 4. As you can see, we got a lot of gold from it, experience of course, and we have a couple of different other things here, which we can now update and try to go on and of course just play on and play the next levels with. Yeah, this is more or less a game. I hope you have fun with it. I think it's a nice little game for people who like this kind of, yeah, a little bit like a Zelda type of game or something. It's a nice little one. I really like it. Try it out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, because we are at the end of the episode. Of course, I would say that you might want to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The button works too. If you are not going to watch it to the end, just do it now. Other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed till now, please do that now. If you want to know more about all the different episodes and you want to be more or less helping this channel, of course, too. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. We will see us in the next episode next week again, around Saturday, Sunday, something like that. And other than that, thank you for watching. See you and have a nice week. Bye. Bye.